All right, so come back. It said find the derivative of this function. So when you look at this, you see that you have functions that multiplies each other, except for this trigonometry function that you have a linear function in it. So if we see functions multiplying each other, we use product rule, right? So we now say y prime. Okay, let me put this in. So what you are going to do is you are going to find the derivative of each of these functions. So let's say u equals s cubed. So u prime. So u prime is going to give us 3x squared, right? Then let's talk about that v equals the exponential. So e to the power of 2x. Then the derivative of that will now be v prime, will now be 2s 2e to the power of 2x. Then for the last one, which is the trigonometry, we can say is w. So we now say is sine 5x. So if we want to find the derivative, which is w prime, is going to give us 5 cos 5x. Okay, so what we did here was chain rule. So if you don't know about chain rule, please watch my video and see how we do this. So let's now find the y prime. Y prime of u v w is going to be u prime multiplied by w multiplied by v and w multiplied by v multiplied by w, then plus u multiplied by v prime multiplied by w, then plus u multiplied by v multiplied by w prime. So I'm going to do it from here. So I'm just going to write y prime will now be u prime. U prime is 3x squared. 3x squared. Then multiply by v. V is e to the power of 2x. And w is sine 5x. Then plus. We now go to u. U is s cubed. S cubed multiply by v prime. V prime is 2 multiplied by e to the power of 2x. Then w is multiplied by sine 5x. Then plus u is s cubed multiplied by v is e to the power of 2x. Then w is to the w prime is 5 cos 5x. So what we just need to do here is to just simplify this. So I said y prime. So you can see here we have 3x squared. We have e to the power of x, e 2e to the power of x, e to the power of x. At least we can agree that what we have e to the power of x for the whole term. So we have e to the power of 2x. Okay, so what do they have in common again? So we have x squared here, we have s cubed here, we have s cubed here. So we can also say s squared, s squared. So we'll now be left with 3x. Now we have 3 for this term, 3. Now sine 5x, then plus. We already have x squared here. So this will now be plus x, but we have 2. So it's going to be 2x sine 5x. No, not all. So, and the last part will now be this. So we now say plus, I'll write it here, plus x. We now have 5 cos 5x. And that is the derivative of this expression, of this equation.